Yo, what's good? It's Culture Appetite. It's the podcast that's bringing the culture knowledge, growth, and self awareness and accountability. I always say accountability because it starts with us. We have to set the example for the generation that's coming. And this brother that I got on this podcast today, man, is a major wave. I know him for a long time. I'm gonna give a light bio. I go way back with this brother. I'm talking about elementary days. And
Yeah.
when I think about bro, I remember us young kids, man, always been a free spirit, real intelligent, very different, very outstanding. I remember going into high school, bro was doing track, went to college, was doing real big things, man. So, it's crazy had lost a little contact with bro. And I went and did what I had to do. And like bro always says, full circle, ran into bro into the gym, and bro was telling me, the different phases he went through, from college, track, and then the streets. And it blew me because that let me know how discreet bro was, you know what I mean? Because not one time I was seeing that, you know what I mean? Because as kids, bro was always just intelligent school, you know what I mean? So when bro broke it down to me and was like, yeah, that's what I was doing, I was like shocked. I was like, bro, that's really moving in silence because not too many people will know. And the flip side is that now bro's working at a treatment place, treating the people that he was serving. Not you know verbatim, but just that street energy to be able to move in the streets, and now you're in a place where you're helping the same people that was poisoning. Because I played the same role, coming up in the city. If you one of the have-nots, you're gonna find ways to just make a way to get something, man. So and that's just how it goes, man. But now I got the man himself, Claremont. How you doing?
What's up,
What I'm saying?
baby?
I got the
What's up,
man.
baby?
Yeah, definitely, man. I want him to explain the transformation because we got to understand that the mindset is everything. You got some people, they're stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
The loop that they're stuck in, they can't get out of it.
Yeah.
But if you go through different phases in life, you go through different stages, and you're still able to maintain your sanity,
Yeah.
bro, that's a blessing from God.
Yeah.
And that's strong
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
So talk to me, bro. Like, how was the transitioning, man?
I mean, I guess we gotta start from the beginning, right?
Definitely, talk to me.
I'm a, first generation Haitian kid, straight out of Boynton.
That's great.
I know a lot of people in the city could probably relate to this. I'm a backyard Haitian. It's two different kinds. It's the uppity French, and we got the yard boys. I was a yard boy. You feel me? I come from the era when I remember the Haitian man coming in the van, and that's where my mom was buying my drawers from. That's where my mom was getting my deodorant from. Going to Walmart, that was a luxury. You feel me? Being able to go to the corner store to buy what you want, that was a luxury. I remember my mom being that type of woman that made sure I never wanted for anything, at least I didn't know I did. You feel me? So when she told me, we going to Miami to go buy 5 pants, 5 shirts, 2 shoes, 1 black, 1 white. This gotta last the rest of the year. It don't matter if you have a growth spurt. It don't matter if you get holes in them. If you get holes in them, she gonna tag that butt. You feel me? I come from the era where I tell a lot of people this, dog. If I didn't have a lot of the male influences I did have in my life, because my mama couldn't raise a man by herself. Yeah, I had a stepfather, for sure. I had a stepfather. But what I learned from his was you show your love for your family by taking care of them, paying the bills and going to work. There was no hugs. There was no I love you. You feel me? So having other male influences in my life, shout out to Mr. Rosine, God rest his soul. He was our computer teacher.
Legendary.
White man in a wheelchair. I say it like that because us coming up how we came up, it was hard to see the other side of things. He was one of the people, and that's why I always shout him out, that no matter who it was, if you needed help, that red van, you stayed in computer club, he was dropping you off.
Thanks.
That right there put a seed in my life of no matter who it is, when it is, or where it is, if you have the opportunity to help someone, do that. Because you don't know how it's going to be reciprocated. Because if he didn't do what he did back then, I don't know if I'd be sitting right here in front of you right now.
That example.
You feel me? Even though there was struggles, valleys, and a couple tribulations along the way, I'm still sitting here in front of you, a married man, an educated man, a man that's had several businesses, a man that works for a corporation, a man that's pursuing his master's degree, a man that plans on getting his doctorate. You feel me? I got 7 kids by the grace of God. Hopefully it'll be 8. You feel me? And I take all that and I hold it near and dear, but I also make sure that I do got a lot of responsibility in my house, but I have even more responsibility outside my house. Because how I influence the world is how the world's probably gonna influence my children. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm not strong enough to take accountability, like you said, for the generations to come, not just the ones in my home, but outside my home, I can't expect nobody else to do better for mine if I'm not willing to do better for somebody else's. So, and that's just the start of it, dog. For real. That's just the start of it.
I want to say congratulations, man. You know what I mean? Keep going because you're setting that example.
I appreciate that.
And I know Mr. Rosine, you know, you went to Formosa, you know, that guy right there really demonstrated love, you know what I mean? Unconditional love. Whatever support that you needed, he was supporting you with it, man.
Mr. Harris too.
Mr. Harris, man.
Mr. Harris
these
too.
are people that made impacts, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
And that's something that eradicated, you know, color, skin, man. You know, Martin Luther King was saying, bro, don't judge a man by the color of skin, but by the context of his character. He generated good character and showed real support, man. So definitely, man. So what are you doing right now? You saying you going for the master or?
Yeah, so right now I'm going I got my degree in human services and psychology. Human services has a lot to do with counseling, getting people through addiction and just like social work and stuff like that. Yeah. So right now I want to get my master's in clinical psychology so I can be an LMFT. For those that don't know what that is, that's a licensed marriage and family therapist. One of the main goals, one of the main reasons I know God put me here is to help facilitate, grow, maintain, and fix relationships, not just romantic, but also familial, business, or whatever, because they all fall under the same umbrella. They all get the same framework. And God gifted me with a framework that He has shown me that I have to give to other people so they can create, maintain, and fix the relationships in their lives.
So before I go right there, because what you're telling me right now, man, it's like A1. Right? But before we was A1, right? We know the transition, right? Now, as I said, we went to elementary school together, you know, outstanding, bright, you know what I mean? Then you went, you know, to school to do track and college. Okay, what happened in that period? Because, you know, I didn't see you. What happened to track?
Well, it's simple, honestly. I went to Cookman. Shout out to the Wildcats. Again, where I come from an era where if you don't hustle, you don't eat. Like I said, you know, my mom, she's been working at the hospital, still works at the hospital. Then it wasn't great money because she was what's considered a nursing assistant or a CNA or patient care assistant, a PCA, where you're just pretty much clean up after people, just to keep it real. I hustled for probably since I was about 16. I didn't get serious into it until I was about 18. When I was 18, graduated, took off to school. I've been running track since middle school, ran track all through high school. When I graduated high school, great graduation, had a graduation party in the backyard. My brother DJ, shout out to DJ Wicked, you feel me? Haitian sensation DJ, biggest in the whole state of Florida. Had my graduation party, did my people drove me up to Daytona, dropped me off, fridge in the dorm. But I still had that mentality of I can't be a broke college kid. You know, you hear that stigma of, you know, freshman year, you eating ramen noodles, you getting the freshman 15, you know, I wasn't with that.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. It got to a point where I wanted to go to Coliseum. I wanted to get the balls of Henny. I wanted to smoke my blacks. Right. I want to wear my J's. I want to be able to put gas in my homeboy car so I can whip around the city.
Yeah, that's just what's in us.
You feel me?
Yeah, that's just what's
in us. So I hustled.
Right.
I hustled to the point where I was on the 3rd floor, shot at 3rd floor Bronson. The guys gonna know what I'm talking about. 3rd floor Bronson in Cookman. That was our dorm. We was on the 3rd floor. Pretty much every other door in the 3rd floor has somebody in their room that hustled this something. Yes, you sold food, you sold hats, you sold sneakers. I sold trees. Right. Me and another dude sold trees. I sold trees for pretty much the whole semester, bro. The same homie who sold trees along with me. I found this out later. He ended up telling on me. Right. Now I remember walking up the stairs, looking down the hall. I see security going in and out of somebody's room. When I hit the door, my homie's like, yo, they in your room. I'm like, my room? Okay, it's 3 of us in that room. They on my side of the room? Right. Yeah, bro, they going through it. Okay. Now, when you live on campus, there's certain rules and regulations that you probably don't know that you should know, because that gives them the authority to go through your stuff, whatever. I obviously thought I was a little bit smarter, had my stuff in the lockbox. They couldn't get into it, but when I got into the room, they asked me to open it. I was never a petty dude to be like, oh, nah, I just opened it. Yeah. It just is what it is. Yeah. Everything's bagged out. They're asking me, what is this? I said, well, you see how many bags are there? At that point, I think I just had a quarter bagged up. Right. It was about 7 bags, and I said, well, I bag it out so I can smoke every day. I know how much I'm smoking. Right. I'm lying. It's bagged out so I can hustle, make a penny off a dollar. You feel me? Yeah. Make $1 out of a penny. And that same day, they gave me 72 hours to get off campus. I ended up signing a piece of paper to make sure that they didn't tell my mom that I was getting kicked out of school. They were very cut and clear in the fact of, by the grace of God, I had my homegirl, I won't mention her name, but I had my homegirl who was part of student council, who vouched for me. And the way they structured my punishment was, we're not going to completely kick you out of school, but you can't come on campus. You can't do any extracurricular activities. You could only come on campus for class. I really only went to school because I could run, just to keep it G. I ran track. I was elevating to the point where I was trying to get a breakout freshman of the year, stuff of that nature. Showed out at Florida Relays. And when they did that, that let me know my track was pretty much over. At least in my mind, and that point in my life, being an adolescent still and not being mature enough to realize, you could still have a chance, you can have another opportunity, you can do whatever. I just took it as, I'm done with school, it's over with. Because I'm not coming to class, I can't go to practice after.
Because my main core was track.
I took 80% of my hustle money, went and gave it to a homeboy of mine who let me sleep on his couch. So I pretty much paid rent for the next 3 months because I wasn't going home. Right. You feel me?
Oh, yeah, we ain't
I wasn't gonna be that heavy level of disappointment to my mom. You feel me? Right. That's what was really weighing heavy on my heart more than anything. I did not want to disappoint my mom. Right. Whereas maybe if I would have just told her what happened, maybe things would have turned out differently. But then I could also say, then I probably wouldn't have met my wife. I probably wouldn't have my kids. You feel me? Everything works out exactly. It works out how it's supposed to. So pretty much when that happened, I hit the hustle hard head first. Right. And I didn't look back until it was time for me to retire my jersey, bro. Right. And in doing that, I learned a lot, went to a lot of places, did a lot of things, sold a lot of things to a lot of people, met a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life, bro, that influenced me in such ways I never would have been influenced if I didn't hustle. Right. That put me in positions to properly prepare myself to be the man I am today. Right. You feel me? But like I tell everybody, I ran my business like a Fortune 500 company.
I see that because I'm telling you, man, I was out there in the streets too, and I was like, what? Yeah, you had been very strategic about how you was moving. I like
bro.
that. What, did you come back down here? Or
yeah. So I ended up after I left Cookman, I stayed in Daytona for probably another 6 months to a year.
Right.
And I went to Daytona State.
Right.
Went to Daytona State, pretty much like going to Palm Beach State.
Right.
And I love school. First of all, I love learning. I love expanding my mind, expanding my horizon. Like I tell people now, especially when I speak to young adults, especially young men, I tell them it's only 2 places where you're going to meet a bunch of different people that do a bunch of different things, that's looking at a bunch of different perspectives in life. Jail and college.
Yes. Because those are 2 facilities that's going to teach you
You get what I'm saying? And you're going to be around a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places, doing a bunch of different things, but you're all in the same place.
Correct.
It's very few places where you get that experience and it's not costing you something.
Right.
Jail or college. Not saying you can't get that experience elsewhere, but you're gonna spend a pretty penny.
Yeah, definitely.
You get what I'm saying?
Especially when you like solitaried in, you know what I mean? School, you're in there, and you're in there for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you're learning something. Jail, you're stuck. It's, whether if you want to learn by accident or learn by watching, you're gonna learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, went to Daytona State, ended up leaving there. Traveled for a bit, but I only traveled to hustle.
Yeah.
You feel me? I went from Texas to Tennessee,
right.
From Georgia back to FLA,
right.
From South Florida to North Florida, from Tally to Jack, from Jack to Miami, from Miami back to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Memphis, from Memphis back to Dallas, from Dallas to You get what I'm saying? I moved a lot until I finally came back and settled here. But again, like I said, I operate everything I do like a Fortune 500 company.
You have to,
no matter what.
So what happened? Like why you stopped why did you retire Jersey?
To honestly keep it simple, bro, God told me to. I didn't have a reason to, dog.
Because you was doing good.
I was doing
well. That voice, it was like, let it go.
I can still smell the dust in the dream he gave me, bro.
Well, it was a dream.
I can still smell the dust. I was driving, running from one cop, getting help from another cop, riding down the canal. I could smell the dust still, bro.
Right.
After I had that dream, I remember God specifically saying, bro, and this is verbatim, 90% of people in your opportunity don't get to leave where you're at on their own accord.
Thanks.
I'm giving you the opportunity.
Go.
And I tell people this, he didn't say I'm giving you opportunity, take it or leave it. He didn't say I'm giving you opportunity, what you gonna do. He said I'm giving the opportunity and stopped at that. Now for me, I know how I say things. When I say things, if I leave you with an unopen-ended answer, and it's not an open-ended question, it's very straightforward, yes or no, the choice is usually pretty clear, dog. Right. And it was heavy on my spirit, dog, when I tell you that if I didn't leave the hustle when I did, something, somewhere, someone was going to happen.
Right. You had kids at that time?
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing, bro. I cried when I had this revelation, when I really thought about it, like, dang, I can't believe how many times I really put my family, what I had in jeopardy, bro. I can't believe how many times when I thought my wife was staying up just to make sure I'd have food to eat, but she was really staying up and praying and making sure I made it home.
Yeah, that's powerful.
You get what I'm saying?
That's a blessing.
Yeah, man, I tell people, you better get you a praying wife.
Right.
You better get you one that'll get down on her knees for you and pray for you the right way. Right. Not pray for your downfall, but pray that you make it home every day. Right. Pray that like unknowingly. Yeah, man, in the Bible it says, when a man becomes a man, he leaves his childish ways. He leaves his mother and his father and
become one with the woman.
You get what I'm saying? So I didn't know that she was praying for me to retire and leave the hustle at some point. Right. Because I laugh about it now. Even back then, there was no ending it. You know, a lot of times we say we gonna leave, we gonna do something else, we gonna let it go. But in reality, that green touching your hand is more addictive than crack.
Right.
For real, bro. Yeah. And I done seen a lot of people do a lot of crazy things for crack. But a lot of people do a lot more crazy things for that green man in your hand. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, I say that to say this. At the time, was it worth it? Sure, it felt like it. Right. But in hindsight, looking back, nah. No. Because what I could have lost, and a lot of people say what I should have lost,
money wouldn't be able to buy.
It wasn't going to do nothing for me, bro. Yeah. It didn't matter if I had $2 million sitting underneath the couch. Right. When I went away, I tell people all the time, you know what's expensive about kids? It ain't the money that you spend, bro. It's the time. They're going to forget the Jordans. They're going to forget the clothes. They're going to forget the Gucci, Louis, Prada, whatever, bro. Right. But you know what they're not going to forget? That time when they looked down to that crowd and they didn't see you. That time when they shot that three and they looked for your hand clap and it wasn't there. You get what I'm saying? I know what that felt like because my mom couldn't be there because she worked. She worked a real job, 12 hours, 7 to 7. Went in early, came home late, got there at 6:50, didn't come home till 7:45. So me knowing that feeling of crossing that finish line and looking up, and I'm like, it's nobody here that I really care about to clap for me, and when I'm getting this gold medal, and it didn't really matter. You see what I'm saying? Which is, I tell my wife this, dog. If my people, my moms, my stepdad, whoever really could have been there while I ran track, I probably wouldn't have hustled. Right. Because that void I was feeling with cash, there would never been a void there in the first place.
Yeah. That was the fulfillment.
You feel me? So I say that to segue into this. This is why me and my wife are starting a nonprofit called Walking with Confidence. Right. And we focus, one of the main focuses on, I'm actually doing a program proposal in my administration human services class for how we facilitate that relationship between parents and their kids. Right. Because kids feel like they're never understood and parents always feel like they're never heard. Right. And it's two separate worlds that have to come together to create a cohesive bond. Because without that bond, I'm a product. I wasn't a product of my environment because I wanted to be. I almost had no choice. Right. Because the environment where I should have been facilitated in, they had no choice. They had to work. They had to be out the house to make sure I had food on the table. Right.
It was a sacrifice.
You feel me? So where she was sacrificing so I could have food on the table and that Haitian man could come back and get draws out his van. Right, you feel me? I'm looking as well. It ain't nobody here to celebrate me, so I might as well go into a place where I'm celebrated. Right, absolutely. And there was a void that was filled when I was celebrated handing off product. Right. It was now in life I realized God showed me that you always thought that you were selling a product, which was why people gravitated towards you.
But it really wasn't.
You lying to yourself. I'm going to really tell you why people gravitated towards you, because you knew how to facilitate relationships and make them feel they had somebody with consistency that they could count on. Right. Because little did you know, little did I know, you were so consistent in these people's lives. Right. They didn't get that from their father. They didn't get that from their mother. They didn't get that from their brother or their sister.
Bro, it's crazy you saying that because, you know, my days in the streets, that's how it was, man. I had a lot of people coming to see me, you know what I mean? And they used to ask me, they was like, yo, you know why I come to see you? I was like, why? It's not because you got the product, because the product's right down the street too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's how you treat me. It's how you make me feel. You don't make me feel like I'm low. You don't talk to me crazy. Yeah. I like your personality. You know what I mean? That's why I come to you. I'd rather spend my money with you. You know what I mean? So, you know, that right there makes you like sit back and ponder a little bit. Yeah. You know, God puts something within us. Is like you said, it's confidence. You know what I mean? It's charisma. It's a good heart. Even when you're doing bad, hey, look, listen, man, you don't need this. Yeah. You know, several times it was like, you know, if I stop this might, it don't matter. Yeah. You still people, man. You're a human. Yeah. You know what I mean? I blew trees.
Or telling that pregnant lady, I'm not finna give you this because I know you're pregnant. I know you're pregnant. I still have
decency. You know what I mean? Some people don't have no decency, bro. So trust me, I could connect with that definitely, man. Now after that period, right? You said you retired to Jersey,
Yeah.
and you went to doing what? You went straight to the treatment, or
So when I retired my jersey, bro, I honestly I was a little lost. Cause you remember I was in the streets every day.
How old were you when you put the jersey up?
I don't know the statute of limitations, so we're gonna keep it at that. So we gonna keep it at that.
That's definitely a clip.
You feel me? Since I don't know the statute of limitations, let's just say I put up my jersey exactly when I was supposed to.
Right, perfect.
You feel me?
I like
but a lot of things led to it. I went through a spiritual journey where I was deep into what people would consider dark art. And I tell a lot of people this: you don't know you in the dark until you really step into the light. You feel me? I've always been a God-fearing man in some way, shape, or form, but I was never a holy man having my life based on faith. You feel me? Faith wasn't my foundation. Every problem I had, I threw $1 at it just to keep a G. It wasn't nothing that I felt like money or grinding a couple hours or putting a little bit more work or getting a little bit more work couldn't fix. And that built a foundation for me that showed me how to show other people how to do certain things a certain way. Even when I hustled, I don't know if a lot of people probably can't say this. When I hustled, I had people on payroll, legit payroll, direct deposit going into their bank, paycheck coming to their house. They got a W-2 coming from my company. I covered all facets of my hustle in every way possible because I learned from other people's mistakes. You feel me? Every mistake I saw another hustle make, especially somebody that was up above me in some way, shape, or form, I made sure I should not, and would not make that same mistakes, no matter what it took. And again, I was in the streets for 14, sometimes 18 hours a day. I would drop my kids off every morning. Sometimes I get my first call at 9. I might not be home until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And going from that to a regular, everyday life
is different.
Now I'm trying to figure out, how do I juggle my time? How do I facilitate, idle hands, and idle mind becomes the devil's playground. So now I'm trying to figure out, how do I stay focused? How do I stay cool, calm, and collected and not put myself in a position where I'm like, man, screw this, I'm going back. By the grace of God, I haven't gone back. You feel me? I haven't had to touch another piece of anything, green, white, brown, yellow, blue, whatever, since I retired my jersey. I traded stocks for a little bit. I still do that now because now I know better, I do better. I tell people a lot of times, there's people out here in this world that think they can't do better, so they don't. Or they don't know better, and if they do know better, they don't believe in the better. And a lot of people don't understand that you really have to believe in something for it to change you or make it worth the change. So I wholeheartedly believe that God showed me a way to stop and a reason to stop for good reason. So I stopped. I traded stocks for a little bit, had to put that on pause because it didn't really shape out the way I expected it to. But in that journey, I learned I not only got addicted to money, I got addicted to instant gratification. I got addicted to the speed of anything. I got addicted to not waiting. If I wanted something, I went and got it. If I needed something, I went and got it. Again, any and every problem I had, bro, I threw $1 at it. If I needed to go to a doctor, I don't care if I ain't got no insurance, $600 for the x-ray here. It's whatever. Let me get 2. Because you not going to treat me like you treat everybody else just because you don't think I got it.
Now I'm going to show you.
Better than I could tell you. We in Florida. We a show me state.
Right, for sure.
If you ain't got it, I don't believe you got it unless you showed me. But I also knew, again, learning from the people that made the mistakes ahead of me, there were certain things you showed and certain things you didn't. Like you said, you had no idea I was hustling the way I was hustling. I got a homeboy of mine. It didn't fathom in my mind how much I hustled or how much I did what I did when I was doing it until he really put like, bro, I don't think you understand. Like, you got $1 million route.
Right.
I'm not calling you a kingpin, like, because I know you don't like that. That stigma, you feel me? That title, because kingpins, it comes with a whole nother definition.
It's an infamous
thing. Yeah. So he was like, yeah, bro, like, you got $1 million route, bro. Like, you ain't never have a trap. I had an office where I kept my life separated from my life. Right. At least I thought I did, until, again, you don't see certain things until you take a step back. Right, absolutely. You feel me?
So how that treatment came in, what you just to do that, or?
It's funny because when I first went back to school down here, I actually interned at a treatment center. I was still hustling, but part of my classes was to intern. I liked the work. It wasn't nothing hard. It was super easy. I'm a people person. I could talk to people. It was super easy to put me in a position where that was nothing hard for me to do. But this time around, when I did it, it was honestly God leading me there, because my sister-in-law got me the job, because it got to a point where, yeah, I want to work, but I don't want to work just for any Joe Schmo. Right. I don't want to be put in the corporate rat race. You feel me? So my sister, one of my older sister, reached out to my older brother, who talked to his wife. His wife was the head of a treatment center, and she ended up getting me a job as a behavioral health tech. And how that panned out was they only gave me one day to start, and that was Saturdays. And again, I was still dipping, dabbing in stocks a little bit, making a couple hundred every day and whatnot. But I needed something solid, something sustainable, something reoccurring, something that felt less like a gamble. So, and that's when I realized God put me in a place to serve, like really serve the same people that I was serving. You feel me? And I didn't know what that really meant until I was put in a position of where these same people, these same type of people, the same community people, the same population was suffering from some of the same things I used to peddle and push. You feel me? And now I'm in a position where I'm helping them move from that same life I just removed myself from. Now I'm moving them, because a lot of treatment centers and a lot of treatment places is faith-based. AA, NA, whatever. So I was put in a position where I was able to use my degree to go from a behavioral health tech to a lead tech to then being a counselor, to just to help people out, bro. When they were having bad days, I made their bad days good. When they're having good days, I made the good days great. When they're having great days, I made the great days phenomenal. I made it my business to make sure that they knew that every day was an opportunity for you to make yourself 1% better no matter what. And like I tell them, I'm going to tell you, you get 1% better every day, 5% better every week, 25% better every month. Notice I didn't say 1%, then 7%, then 30%. Nah, because we all have our downtimes. We all have bad moments, but failures are not your future. So a bad moment should not be what you project your life on, because we all have bad moments. We all have bad days. You get what I'm saying? You're very much in your right to have a moment. I'm gonna tell you, like I tell my kids, you're entitled to feel how you want to feel. That is your right. That is your human right. You know when you're wrong, what you do with them feelings. And that's it. And that's what I taught a lot of grown folk, a lot of grown men and grown women at the facilities I work at.
You'll be surprised how much people is not aware of what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because, it takes intelligence to be able to be aware of those different behaviors. You know what I mean? So when you're able to break that down to a grown person, he probably was operating off of, like you said, a feeling, an emotion. But once you brought intelligence into it and some awareness, like, I was tripping. And I was just having a moment. You know what I mean? And that moment that I was having, I took how I felt and just reacted.
Yeah.
You don't have to be controlled by that, man.
Yeah. Me hustling. Yeah. It was a feeling.
It was a feeling.
A feeling, remembering how much I didn't have. Yeah. Remembering how much I've seen people struggle. You get what I'm saying? So the hustle was, it was more than easy because it was based off my feelings.
Right.
Flip side of that coin is, if I would have let my feelings continue to drive me instead of the facts that God gave me, I probably would have still been hustling and ended up in a place where I couldn't turn back from.
Thanks, man. Because I was in that place, man. I came across a lot of guys. They wish they had that opportunity that you had to be able to know, like, yo, listen, I seen the signs, you know, and didn't pay attention, bro. It's very detrimental.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And it's amazing that, you know, that right there is a testimony. You know what I mean? It blew me because, like I said, I did not know. You know what I mean? So it's like real strategic, and to be able to have a chance to, you know, put that to the side and jump into something that's supporting people that's, you know, having major habits, bro. I think that's a major, you know what I'm saying, up, man, because you're giving back. You didn't just change, you're changing people.
I got to, dog. Yeah, I got to. Definitely. He like I tell people now, he put me here to, it's the 5 C's, bro.
Right.
To counsel, consult, connect, correct, and bring comfort. I promise you, those are 5 C's he gave me, dog, and I try to live that out every day in my life.
Is that a system every person you put together, you wrote down yourself, or
that's what he gave me.
Right.
He gave it to me. Yeah.
So there's nothing written down with the.
This is what he gave me, bro.
The 6, 7 P's, right?
The 5 P's. Yep. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
So you got you the C's.
Yeah. He gave me them C's, bro. He told me I'm here to counsel, consult, connect, correct, and bring comfort. Yeah. And I didn't really understand it until I really started doing it. And once I really started doing it, it was no turning back. I tell people like this: he let me hustle for 15 years. He saved me from doing 15 to life, because a lot of people don't know I got arrested over 5 times. Right. You feel me? A lot of people don't know I sat behind a cell and I was waiting on a sentencing date. Right. And I got a release date. You understand what I'm saying, dog? Yeah, right. My maximum minimum was 15.
Did not see it so much, man.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I set the appointment. My hair was getting cut. I was getting ready to get on that bus and make it do what it do. Again, he let me hustle for 15. He saved me for 15. I know I owe him at least another dirty 30. You feel me? I owe him at least another. Exactly, bro. Because, you know, he says, what you give me, I'm going to give it back to you tenfold.
So that's what you're going to do.
So like I tell people, I don't just fast off of food. I fast by giving him my time. I fast by giving him my effort. You feel me? Bro. You can't get back. You could spend it, you could lose it. You can't get that back, bro.
Man. So what it is right now, like, you know, what you got going right now, as far as like, you know, your movement with, like you said, you're gonna consult, you're gonna give these people, you know, counseling. The corporation company, what it is that you're doing? That's
so right now I got a corporate gig. I'm an assistant manager at a place. But right now my main thing is to push this framework that God gave me, TLC plus E. Now, what that represents is the foundation to help maintain, create, build, and repair any and every kind of relationship.
Right, and you did say that.
Yeah, and what TLC plus E stands for, and that's the same title as my my YouTube channel, because I'll be getting ready to post certain things about it. TLC plus E stands for trust, laughter, communication, expectation. Now, when you think about these 4 things, if you're missing any one of these, it don't matter what the relationship is, no matter who the person is, who the business is, it's going to break. If you don't have the trust, if you don't have the laughter, if you don't have the communication, but most importantly, the expectation. I'm going to tell you like this. I treat things, people, and places the same way God treated us. Right. You know why? Because he puts expectation on the forefront. Right. That's why it's TLC plus E. Don't forget the E. A lot of us get into these situationships. A lot of us get into these business relationships. A lot of us get into these platonic, romantic, whatever relationships, and we don't put the expectations out first.
Right. You know what? You said something with expectation, because you'll hear constantly people saying about, oh, don't have high expectations so it don't crash, and now you're disappointed. You know what I mean? But it's certain times you gotta have expectations, because you have standards, right? And if I know a person, I'm gonna be like, yo, I expect you to do this because I know you. You know what I mean? And I know your potential. So it's like, expectation can't be excluded. You gotta have expectations.
It gotta be first.
You know what I mean? Because if I go 100% for you, I expect you to go 100% for me.
Yeah, and you gotta be willing to show or tell at least what that looks like. I tell the people, why me and my wife worked from the get, because we may not have known exactly what we wanted, but we knew exactly what we didn't want. Like, you cannot do this. I will not accept this, and you're not gonna put me through this. That was the basis. That was the foundation. That was everything. Leading with exactly what we didn't want to see, what we didn't want to feel, and what we didn't want to happen. A lot of people get into things and they're like, well, he or she should have known that I saw this as cheating. How? You never said nothing until after the fact. Now you're expecting them to feel the same way you feel about it, but you never set that precedent of, if you do this, I'm going to feel like this, and it's going to go like this. When God gave his rules and regulations and his commands, he put that on the forefront. This is it. This is what I expect. And if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen.
Law, statute, judgment.
That's it. And we were made in whose image? So who am I to not operate the same way?
Facts. Man, that right there was an anchor. That right there is gonna sit for some time, because we all is struggling and fighting, you know what I mean? To hold a certain, standard of, man, together, because, you see, I'm even, flustered, not even flustered, but just like, looking at me like, dang, that right there was a reflection.
Like, bro.
Because, I fear the creator, you know what I mean? So when you said that, it's like, it hit home, because, you know what you're supposed to do as a man. You know what I'm saying? You know your principles. So it's like, anytime powerful things that's said like that is going to hit home, and it has to register, bro, because at some point you got to have some type of, foundation that you stand on that you won't break off.
Yeah, bro.
Because the word is say, what? You build it on sand, it's going to blow away, bro. You got to have concrete foundation.
You build it on this rock of meat. You feel me? And I tell people that TLC plus C, it ain't just for you and someone else. It got to apply to yourself first. If you don't trust yourself, if you can't laugh at your mistakes, if you can't communicate with yourself, like, listen, bro, you was having a bad moment. That don't mean you got to have a bad life. And if you don't know what you expect from you, you're not going to know what to expect from somebody else.
You have to kick yourself in the butt, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You gotta set, you got boundaries, and you got to set lines before the boundaries, bro.
Yes, bro.
I really believe in that, man. So it's like, a lot of times if I fall short, I'm gonna get mad at myself. Like, I got situations with the team. Sometimes the day ain't going right. The first thing I do, I'm like, bro, I gotta drop you off. I'm gonna drop you off. I'm gonna go meditate right here and just remind myself, you know what I mean, that, okay, look, listen, be grateful. You know what I mean, for what you got going on. You know what I mean? Don't allow your emotions to cause you to react in a way. Just go back, regroup, and then come back. That's exactly what I did. I called my guys after that. I was like, bro, let's get it. You know what I mean? You have to step back sometimes, because those lines, man. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This was a blessing having you, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, we gonna do it again. This part one of many. This part one of
so
many.
Much fun, because, bro, he lived multiple lives. Right now we just touched the bases. Don't want to hold it too long. Definitely, we're gonna have to run it back after you set that corporation. We want to see that result, man. We want to see that.
Man.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. For sure, man.
Man.
Yes, sir. Happy to have you. Happy to be here, man.
It's KultureAppetite, man. It's the podcast.
Get fed.
This is the podcast that's gonna be feeding the culture, bro. If you got a story, tap in with me, bro. It costs you nothing. You know what I mean? Just show up, man. Show out, man. Show the love to the city, the community. Let them see what you got. You know what I mean? You got any final words?
Oh, yeah, man. Remember, like, share, comment, repost. It's free.
It's free.
And like we used to say back in the city, if it's free, it's me. You feel me? That's it, man. And y'all look out for me, man, for real. My name is Clermond, CLERMOND. That's what it is on all social medias. My YouTube is TLC plus E, TLCPLUSE. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. You might learn something, you might not, but I promise you won't leave my page thinking the same way you thinking now.
Facts. Well, I'm about to go check that page out right now. Love, bro, salute. Yo, that was